channel. Today I'm going to be doing a first installment of Cory's book club. So if you're interested in books and knowing if you should read them or not, say hello to my dog, he's right there. Stay tuned because I'm going to be reviewing this book that I just finished up. I hope you enjoy this video. If you do, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Please, it helps a ton. And without further ado, let's get started. The book I'm reviewing today is It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. This is a romance. I will say it's not a lighthearted romance. It's pretty steamy in terms of content. It is actually inspired by Schitt's Creek, which I thought was interesting. So if you've never seen Schitt's Creek, I highly recommend. But if you haven't, it's basically where this rich, spoiled family gets thrown into turmoil, essentially. Like, they lose everything and they get thrown into like this nasty, poor town, essentially. It follows Piper Bellinger, who's this fabulous socialite. She goes to all the hottest parties, she knows all the hottest people, that kind of thing, and she lives in LA. She's a real big social media influencer, and she's never had a relationship longer than 3 weeks. And her current boyfriend, who is this also influencer kind of guy, he actually breaks up with her, says she's boring, doesn't want any part of her. And Piper, in spite of him, essentially decides she's gonna show him up and show him like who she's all about. And so she decides to throw this massive party on this rooftop area with like a pool and everything, and she invites all the hottest people, and it quickly gets all over the news, and she gets arrested. Yeah, so she gets arrested for breaking and entering and obviously throwing the party because it was private property, and it was actually her stepdad's like company that he's working with. He's a film producer and he's working with these clients, so it's that location. So her stepdad is in pretty hot water as well now because of Piper. So she gets arrested, has to spend the night in jail, comes home, and her stepdad is essentially fed up with the way that she's been acting, how she thinks, you know, she's on top of the world, and he says, you need to learn a lesson. So he sends her off to this place called Westport. Now, Westport is in Washington, and it's this hodunk town, everybody knows everybody kind of thing. And he sends her there because her birth father is actually from there. He owns a bar over there that her birth father owned as well, and now it's in her stepdad's name. And he says, you're gonna go work at the bar and get, you know, a taste of life, get a reality check, see how that works out for you. So Piper is obviously just floored. Like, the fact that she has to go out into the real world, it's disgusting. Who wants to do that? So her sister Hannah decides to go with her so she won't be alone. And Hannah's more of like a down-to-earth kind of gal. Essentially, after that, the story then shifts from Piper's perspective to Brendan. And Brendan is this guy born and raised in Westport, and he feels entitled to that. You know, it's his small town. And Piper walks into the bar that her stepdad owns, and she's dressed to the nines, wearing this, you know, wearing Chanel, everything, and a lipstick purse. It's shaped like lips. And she just waltzes in, and like she owns the place because that's how Piper is. And Brendan is just not having it. He's thinking, who is this girl? What does she think she is? And he can't deny that she's gorgeous and the most, you know, insanely beautiful person he's ever seen. So automatically there's some tension there, like right in like the first like 50 pages, there's some tension. They end up running into each other more frequently. So Piper really doesn't know what she's doing. She doesn't know anything about life or how to cook. So she's at the grocery store talking to Siri, asking her like to cook her a meal, and Brendan's helping her reluctantly, but he's like weirdly attracted to this girl. Soon Brendan realizes that he can't stay away from her. because she's like the most amazing thing that he's ever seen. Like, he hates her, but he loves her at the same time. And it's one of those things where it's like opposites attract. So the story then follows Piper and Brendan and kind of like their relationship and how that goes about. I won't spoil anything. Overall, I did enjoy the book. I would say I rate it a 4 out of 5. The only thing I didn't really care for was that it is written in the third person. I tend to lean more towards first person books and first person point of views. The only third person that I really enjoy is Harry Potter. I mean, because who doesn't? So I would keep that in mind. If you don't like third person, it was a little bit like, it was kind of hard to get into at first just because it is third person, so I was kind of like thrown off a little bit. One of my favorite characters in the book is definitely Piper, because, and that's just not saying because she's, you know, the main character, but she has many layers to her. You know, you think, oh, this, you know, this rich snob is, I think she knows better than everyone and, you know, all that, but deep down you realize like she's not a bad person at all. She's actually very sweet and kind and caring. But growing up in like the socialite life, and obviously she's a huge part of that, it's hard to show those colors in that perspective. Like, you almost have to be like two people at once. Brendan, by the way, he's a gruff kind of nature guy. He's got calluses on his hands, and Piper's never seen that in LA before. These kind of guys just don't exist in LA, so she's never seen that before. So she's really kind of thrown off, but like weirdly attracted to it. And he is a crab fisherman, and he goes and makes his money for the year in like 3 weeks and comes back and is free the whole year. And it's really wonderful to see like Piper never experienced that, and then all of a sudden like he's doing all these things for her, he's being there for her, like all the romantic things that Piper's never had, because her relationship has only ever lasted 3 weeks, and that's terrifying. For somebody that's only had a relationship last 3 weeks, the potential for greater and longer and like marriage and stuff, it's just wild. I think in the end that Piper really learned to be herself. And I like those kind of books because I do like the young adult books where they're kind of like going through life. You know, there's a major life event in their teens kind of thing. But this was nice to see like an actual adult kind of going through like a quarter life crisis and figuring out who she is. So I enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed this quick little video of Cory's book club. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe as always. And yeah, if you do want to see more of these, let me know.